Hey everyone, it's Nakul from Wicky. We're going to try something different this time. We've got a couple of my mates joining us on the pod. We're going to talk all things basketball and soccer. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that we're going to go on. I hope these guys don't get me into any trouble, but I'll introduce myself in a second. But we've got Onks and Meshy joining us. Do you guys want to do a quick intro? And I'll explain the concept and what we're going to try and do a bit after that.
Easy. I'll go. I'll go first. Meshy here. I've been an avid sports fan for probably all of my life. Grew up in Sydney and Adelaide, so got best of both worlds in terms of rugby league and AFL. But over the last few years, I've definitely become a massive NBA fan. I started watching NBA in about 2014, and ever since then, it's just continued on. Massive Steph Curry fan. Base my whole game off of him. I may not look like much of a baller, but I can play basketball. Um, and then yeah, so I think with KO and everything being available to us, I've just been able to, absolutely get into all the games, watch all the games, have a bet obviously on some of the games, bit of draft stars here and there. And then yeah, obviously fall in love with the sport. So that's a bit of an intro from me, Onksy.
That's sick. Awesome. Hey, just very quickly, Onks, before you get on, when she told us you play a bit of basketball, we can't obviously see how tall are you?
I'm a very modest 5'8", I'd say. On the dating apps, a 6'1", I reckon.
6'1" with shoes on, with Air Force on. With Air Force on.
No, all right. Well, we've got someone taller on the show. Onks, you want to do your intro?
Yeah, 6'4" on a good day. So do with that what you will. Onks here. Play and watch basically anything that you can put money on. Watch well, play poorly. Nothing really that I'm too exceptional at. We can't all be Indian Steph Currys like Meshy over here. But definitely love my NBA, love football, any sort of football. Currently playing some indoor tournaments too, trying to keep active. Once you hit 30, you start to enter that uncle phase of your life. So just trying to stay away from that. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell. Let's get it going.
That's sick. All right, cool. Well, we've been talking about this for a little bit. Like, I think we've got this little WhatsApp group where we just talk shit about sport all the time. No one better to talk about basketball and soccer than three Indian dudes in their 30s. So this should be.
hey, I'm not in my 30s yet.
Oh, true.
I'm the child of this group.
That mustache and that face says otherwise, but okay.
I'm glad this is a podcast and not many people will be seeing my face, I hope.
Are you actually doing November, by the way, or is that just like a normal no for you?
It was a bit of laziness when I was sick for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I did lose 8 kilos in 10 days, so
I'd kill for that. Fuck.
So weight loss journey, COVID, get on it. Perfect.
No, sick. All right. Well, we're going to start with basketball. I must say, like, I'm obviously hosting this thing. I'm hoping to get into a lot more basketball stuff because we're trying to do a little bit of data and content stuff for my company, Wicky, with basketball. But Meshy follows a lot more basketball than I do. Get us into it, man. Talk to us about. I think the season's about a week in so far.
The season's 2 weeks in now, so I'm kind of glad.
Shit, that's flown by.
Right. Yeah, I'm kind of glad we didn't kick off last week, to be honest, because I would have said some early crow stuff, probably named my champion, MVP, all of the awards in the first day.
I mean, it hasn't stopped you from saying Steph MVP in the chat 3 times a day.
Look, Steph's always going to be my MVP. As you can see, this is his jersey.
Hey.
Gotta wear it. Never taking it off.
Is that from Chinatown or is that legit?
This is legit. This is straight from the USA. It's legit.
It doesn't have curry on the back. It has curry. It has curry on the back.
Oh man. But yeah, so 2 weeks into the NBA, definitely a better read on teams and what's going on. If we start out, I guess in the East, Boston look amazing this year. They are
5-0.
Absolutely stacked. They are stacked. Like their starting five. Old man Horford off the bench. He's probably your age, Nakul, 36.
He moves
they look amazing. Like I think they're beating teams by like 20 points, putting up 130s, 140s, 150s. They're definitely cream of the crop, I would say, on the East. Milwaukee have some teething.
Only team yet to lose a game, right?
Yeah, they're still undefeated.
undefeated.
Maybe they go for the Warriors record, 73-9.
They're fucking on track so
Mate,
far.
But can I
they
just
are.
ask very quickly, with such a long season, when these teams go on these crazy runs at the start, do they try to like manage, like obviously with NFL, NRL, there's some sort of management and stuff in the mid-season. Do they do any of that with basketball, or how do they usually work around that?
In the past they have, because there's been a change this year in terms of awards and all NBA selections and all of that stuff, is that you have to play a minimum of 65 games now. So in the past they definitely had people resting, but these days you got to play all the way through. You got to play 65 games at least, 82 game season, and awards matter. They all link into some of these guys' contracts if they get all NBA. And you're not talking about, $1,000 difference. It's about $30 million for some of these guys. So yeah, definitely important. So yeah, not as much management, but you'll definitely see it through the season.
There's also new rules this season around stars sitting out back-to-backs, and especially away games where they only play once, so that away fans who turn up to see star players aren't gypped when they don't get to see LeBron James. Yeah, like LeBron James resting in Atlanta or something like that. Not allowed.
I don't know if you guys have heard any stories about this, but one of my mates that I knew in high school, he like flew to the States. I think it might have been to he follows the Miami Heat, so I don't know which big player it was, but a couple of years ago, he flew to the States to watch his team. Sorry, what am I saying? The Chicago Bulls. Sorry, wrong team. Yeah. Anyway, he flies to the States to watch his team, gets there, and then his favorite players aren't playing on the day. And his Instagram story was just him gutted, and I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, no.
Like, is that common, or did he just get unlucky?
No, man.
Again, very common. Very common.
Oh, shit.
He probably deserved it, though, let's be honest.
He's actually into his basketball.
If his favorite team is the Chicago Bulls, I don't know what star players he was talking about, but I think he needs to change teams, bro.
Oh god!
What do you mean?
One of you guys were crook. Well, if one of you guys were crook, I was going to get him to jump on, but I can't now. You guys have just shit talked him for 2 minutes.
But yeah, going back. So yeah, I think the East is definitely it's very top heavy. Bucks are having some teething issues, but I think they should come good. Two absolute superstars in Giannis and Dame there. And then I think the surprise for me has been Philly. They haven't lost a step, losing James Harden. He was giving them 20 and 11 last year. But Maxey, the young star, has definitely taken a step. And yeah, they look great. They're definitely going to be top 4 in the East. And then after that, to be honest with you, I don't really care about the other teams there. They're pretty poor. It's pretty packed and tight. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the bottom of the East, really. And the bottom of the East starts from the number 4 spot for me.
It's just one big mess of teams that are just going to be above 500, looking to get into the playoffs. That's all the East is, really. So different 100%. From the West. So different from the West.
Yeah, I think so. Going to the West now, the West is an absolute bloodbath for me. Like, there are teams, I thought at the start of the season, I had 2 teams I was pretty sure on that weren't going to make it. So I had about 13 teams fighting for 10 spots. But apart from, I think, Memphis, who've had a pretty rough start, everyone looks like they're trying. They definitely can push for that 9-10 spot for the play-in tournament. And then, again, you've got, you've got your usual suspects in the Lakers and the Warriors. Denver, last year's champs, look amazing again. So yeah, it's definitely, I think it's the first time in a while where every game really counts. And you can't really have a day off.
Yeah. Didn't Ja Morant say that he was fine in the West spot? Do we need to have a chat with the Memphis? Do we need to have a chat with the Memphis Grizzlies about
that? You can have a chat with him when he decides to come back, mate. Gotta wait 20 more games.
I'm gonna ask like a new to basketball question, right? So like if I've ever followed NBA, it's been like purely from like this bet on this game. Someone told me about it. I'm getting on and I'm watching that game, right? So in terms of how it all works, can you just like, if someone's new to NBA, can you just tell me how all the different conferences work? And because I know they play like a whole final series and stuff. Can you give us like super quick breakdown if someone's new to NBA?
Yeah, sure. So 2 conferences, 15 teams in each conference. So they changed it couple of years back where they've added in the playing tournament now. So if you finish 9th or 10th, you have a chance to play off against the teams that are 7th and 8th to get
Nice.
get a spot into the playoffs. But otherwise, the top 6 are guaranteed playoffs. Top 4 get home court advantage, and it's essentially you're playing 1v8 all the way down your usual bracket style. First to 4, best of 7, and then champion of the Western Conference plays the champion of the East Conference, and you get your world champ, as the Americans like to put it.
The world champ, because no other basketball league in the world matters except the NBA. They just deemed a world champ.
Yeah, so yeah, it's
That's
pretty.
It's actually cool, like understanding understanding how it actually flows together. Because usually when I get into it, I get into it like at the very end when it's like the final series and stuff like that. But this time, if I can actually obviously follow it along with you guys, if I can get a jersey in my size, I'll get one when I go overseas for cheap.
I reckon a Zion jersey would be the perfect size for, right? Same athleticism, same
big muscular guy like me. Or?
Yeah. Same power ratio, same athleticism. Yeah, we got you.
No, honestly, now I can't picture Zion on Zion's face on Nakul's like uncanny resemblance.
I think we found your new nickname for the podcast, mate.
Zion,
Big Z.
Big Z.
Damn.
Big Z.
Well, we haven't found a name for the podcast yet, but at least I've got a new nickname.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Yeah, don't worry about the name.
Zion, I'll take that. Big Z.
No, sick. What ones have you had Meshy? Have you had a crack at any of the punting or draft stars and stuff early in the season, or do you wait and watch a little bit?
Yeah, so I'm more of with NBA early. It's quite tough because you don't know teams' rotations and who's playing how many minutes, who's coming off the bench. You get a glimpse of some of the bench stars, I guess, in preseason. But otherwise, I'm more of give it a month, I think, solid month. You kind of see, I think, especially in the West this year, you kind of see teams that are a bit more desperate. So some of their stars might start creeping up on a few minutes here and there. But yeah, definitely watch and see. There is a fun market that one of our mates, Shivzo. So Shivzo and myself, we've kind of been having a go and having a look at Wemby. So I'm not sure if you've heard of Wemby. Cool.
No idea what Wemby is. I'm keen to understand though. Can I put a house deposit on
it? What rock have you been living under that you haven't heard of the Slender Man that's taken over the NBA?
This man's a freak. This man
absolute freak.
He's an absolute freak. He's unbelievable. He's 7'7", legit, not dating app 7'7", like legit 7'7". He runs as quick as Onks. Like, honestly, great handles. He's definitely a freak. But the betting market that we did, I guess, kind of fell into is he's so big, he should never lose a tip off. So essentially, what we've been doing is just getting on some of the Spurs players, his first baskets, because he's like 7'7". He's not going to lose to anyone really. Maybe one person in the league, maybe Giannis might beat him, but even then, I think he's just going to win every tip off. And I think so far this year in 7 games, they've only lost 1 tip. So it's just a fun little market. You get $9 to $15 for some of the Spurs players' first basket.
Damn.
And just have a bit of a dabble. But otherwise, nothing significant in terms of I guess I'm a bit of a unders overs guy in terms of points scored, but there hasn't been anything that's really stood out for me so far.
No, fair enough. I'm just having a quick look at this Wemby guy. So his name is
Wembanyama.
I was just going to read out it. Yeah, Victor Wembanyama. That's probably like a third of his actual name. I'm so keen to figure out what his actual name is.
No, that he's French. He's French.
He's French. Yeah.
Oh, so that is his real name.
Yeah.
He's not South.
One of our mates.
He's not Somalian or something.
One of our mates kicks he's. I've got his name saved on my phone as 4 characters, but the real one's about 40. So I'm
40,
one of those.
Yeah. Do you reckon he gets enough room on the form so when he has to fill it in? He probably has to draw a couple more boxes at the end.
Do you remember doing the NAPLAN exams in year 4 and stuff? They probably have to give him another sheet just to put his name down, I reckon. Just on Wemby, I don't think enough gets said. Hey, the hype is real. He's got the body of a center with the handles of a guard. and he runs as fast as me coming home from Fahim's on a night out. Like he's absolutely he's gonna take over. He's probably the next best thing, right, in the league,
Yeah,
like
well,
easily.
I mean, there's
Easily.
already talks of him potentially being like in an All NBA team in his rookie year, or even winning boy like defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's blocking everything, gets steals. He's got,
And he
I
got
think,
what did he get, like 38 points last game, a couple of games ago?
yeah,
which
2
is
games ago. Yeah,
ridiculous.
2 games ago against the Suns.
38 points in his
At
rookie
19 years
season
old.
at 19 years old. And
That's yeah. I was
that's
just googling him.
insane.
He's 19.
Yeah,
What the hell were we doing at 19? Jesus.
We were
I'll
at
probably
that
passed out
camp,
on the
right?
bench, to be honest.
Weren't you mixing Southern Comfort and cornflakes in the morning?
That was about 21. I couldn't afford Southern Comfort.
Yeah. True.
That's sick. All right. Well, I reckon Meshy, I reckon in probably like give it like a week or two. Once you start getting a little bit more into the punting side of NBA, we've got that odds comparison tool. Like we've literally just popped out like a few different markets. We're just playing around with it. So I'm just waiting for like a few of our mates to kind of get into it, make sense of it all, and then I'm keen to actually get some tips out on the pod. Like once you, as you said, like once you kind of get into the flow of the season, you know who's playing how many minutes and stuff.
100%. And I think you can kind of find the niches as well, like teams playing back to backs, teams resting stars, teams resting 1 star. So yeah, there's plenty to look out for.
Yeah, and I think Onks mentioned it on the group chat a week or so ago, like about getting NBA Live Pass. So I think Shivzo, one of our other mates, has that hack of trying to get it through India and stuff. Like
League pass.
Was it India or like Venezuela or something?
If you go through any of the South American countries or India with a VPN, I think it's like turns out to be 33 Aussie dollars compared to the whatever 250 that you'd pay if you went through just an Australian site. So
hey, well, I'm actually doing it legitimately. So I'm going to get it. Like, I'll get one of our team members in India to buy it, and obviously it's a business expense. It's work related.
Of course.
33 bucks. Write it off.
I reckon if you want to be even cheaper, for me, I use the tab app. That they stream NBA.
They show every game, but
every game.
Interesting.
I think the one thing you can't do is cast the thing off your phone.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
So you either have to watch it on your phone, or I guess if you're bothered, HDMI on the laptop, plug it in.
Now, to be honest, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the sorry, is it League Pass or Live Pass? League Pass.
It's a League Pass. It'll give you.
Yeah. What I want to do is watch highlights because I want to get into NBA and NFL at the same time. No way I'm watching whole games. So I want to try to learn it from the highlights and talk shit with everyone, and then start watching games properly, like a bit later.
KO's really good with the NFL. I think they have the license, but with the NBA, they only show ABC and ESPN games, so they only show 2 a day. But if you have the League Pass with the NBA, then you can watch every single game, and then they have like stat pages and highlights and dedicated other videos and analysis on there. So it's worth it at the end of the day, I think.
Yeah, I'll just be looking out for photos of Wemby.
Mate, it'll be everywhere. You won't have to look far. It'll be on every page. Every little YouTube like picture in the corner, or you see Wemby and his big slender hands coming out.
He dressed up as Slender Man for Halloween. That was scary. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, that's so good though.
If you want to see some shit before going to bed, Nakul, Google Wemby Slender Man.
I was actually just thinking it's 10 o'clock today. 10 o'clock now. So we're going to go to bed after this. This is not what I want to be thinking about.
Might knock a few hours off your sleep, bro.
Nah, sick. All right, let's get into some soccer. Onks, hit us up with I think I remember Meshy growing up. You used to love your soccer as well. So I guess let's start off with very quickly just who your teams are, because I think with basketball, Meshy obviously goes for the Warriors. But let's start off with who you guys go for, and then Onks, hit us up with some soccer chat.
I think I can speak for both of us. Meshy goes for the big Arsenal, right?
Yeah, big Arsenal fan.
Big Arsenal. When did that happen? During the Invincibles run, or when did
that bandwagon? The love for Arsenal came from FIFA 04, I think. So Thierry Henry plastered on the front cover.
Yeah.
Burkamp, some old school guys there.
FIFA 04, were you even alive back then? What are you talking about, FIFA 04?
Hey, I'm not 30, but I was alive. I could hold a controller as well. Got my Xbox controller license, just wiggling away. But yeah, 04 was when I I guess started supporting them. Didn't really know much apart from the FIFA game. So
Yeah. Sweet.
Fair enough. Onks, what about you?
I kind of don't want to have this conversation because I go for Manchester United and we're absolutely trash at the moment. It's just depressing. And I let my mental health be affected by 11 guys running around in a rectangle every fucking week. So yeah, let's just quickly move on from the teams that we support. But yeah, got in
Wait,
when I
did you say
started watching.
Manchester United's not going well? Sorry, because
No, we're
nah,
terrible, man. Yeah, absolutely
because I'm
trash.
watching the David Beckham documentary. Manchester
Yeah.
United seems to be doing great. Then I don't know what's changed, but
Well, funny enough, like that's probably when I started watching soccer when I first got my copy of FIFA '05 on the original Xbox, and then obviously I went to India, and then you have 400 channels illegally, right? So you can watch all the soccer you want in India. So
Big,
back then, United, that was a Ronaldo era. The Scholes, Ronaldo, Tevez,
big
Rooney.
lineup.
We were
stacked.
absolutely gun like stacked, and then slowly after Ferguson left in 2013, it's just been a steady decline into depression. So but once you back a team, you stick with them. So yeah, we'll stick with it for now.
Very cool. All right,
What's
hit us up, Onks.
who you going for in the soccer? Have you been watching a lot of soccer, or what, you still looking for a team, or what's the situation?
Ah, dude, it's too late at night, man. Nah, like I don't watch it live, but I think that's the best part about this pod and like the WhatsApp chat that we've got. I think it's like a really good chance for us to actually talk shit about sports we don't follow as often. So NBA and NFL, I'm definitely getting into just from like
Yeah.
work stuff. But I think soccer especially in the new year, like once it get when's the end of the EPL? Is it like mid
It goes from like
next year?
August to May, so it goes over the New Year's,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
there'll be a break in the middle where, well,
yeah.
the EPL is actually one of the most tough leagues because they keep playing
Really?
through winter break.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
the Bundesliga, the Serie A, everyone takes a break, right? The La Liga and stuff. And there's been
yeah.
talk around that because when they come back into the Champions League, so the Champions League, I don't know how much you know about football, Nakul, but Champions
No,
League is
hit us
when
up, man.
Champions League is the best teams in Europe. They play against each other in another league for a cup, right? So when they come back to that in February, there's talk that the other teams are rested a lot more than the English teams that
Mm,
have been
Yeah.
battling like in the snow and
Yeah.
terrible conditions all through. And they play on like Boxing Day. They play on like the New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
It's terrible, the schedule, man. And they play 4 games more. So that's probably why in the last, I would say, 10 years, we've probably only had one winner from England, which is no, two. So Chelsea and City. But before that, there was an absolute era of domination by Madrid and then Barcelona and then Bayern. So
I
that
reckon
probably,
they're doing God's work, man. Like when you're 15 beers deep around Christmas and Boxing Day and stuff, and
yeah.
you need something to punt on at like 3 a.m. or whatever the
Ju-
hell it
ju-
is.
yeah, North Korean women's basketball. What do you think they're playing there? What do you think they're doing over there, bro? Come on now.
No, the best is like World Cups and stuff. Like I definitely get into soccer around World Cups, right? And
Yeah,
it's obviously at like random hours and stuff. And
yeah,
like I'll bet on like a draw and it will come off and you're like, oh
yeah,
dude, I know my soccer. I know, and you just like keep
yeah.
trying to win on the draw every game.
Mate, that's better than when Sanket put $100 down on Germany as a sure bet and lost it in the World Cup, and he's never touched the betting side ever again. Shout out to Sanket,
Oh,
professional
jeez.
better. But talking about the World Cup, actually, really good point. Obviously, this was a World Cup year, World Cup cycle, probably one of the best World Cups I've ever seen, just because our hero, well, my hero, Messi, who I think is personally is the greatest of all time. There's a big debate around that, but he finally got the World Cup. The final had like just goals galore.
Yeah.
Um,
That was sick.
and the whole tournament was an absolute joy to follow. I think the times are very good for once for Australian viewers because usually, like the NBA and stuff, they're at decent times during the day. But following the EPL is like a full time job when you have to stay up at 1 and 2 and
Yeah.
stuff in the morning to watch your favorite team. So, yeah, it was an amazing tournament. And off the back of that, Messi's won his 8th Ballon d'Or, so the best player in the world.
Undeserved, I reckon.
You guys, so
Controversy.
yeah, what do you reckon around that? Yeah,
I
like, how'd you find that decision?
I don't know, man. Like I think you can't play for some like E League US Miami team and get that or like come on. How good are the US leagues? I reckon
It,
HBC are probably better than some of them.
Hey, did you say Harris Park Cricket Club is better at
Harris
soccer
Park Cricket
than
Club. Yeah.
than the MLS?
Well,
Yeah,
no, like if you compare Harris Park Cricket Club and the div we play to the
yeah,
US League, and you compare
yeah.
that to
Yeah.
the Champions League, come
Get
on,
me
man.
in as
What are
goalkeeper,
you
man.
doing?
Look at my reach. I don't know how much you can see, but get me in there.
Yeah, I
But
don't know.
Jeez.
I don't actually like. I haven't followed it that much this year, but I can't tell you who should have won it.
Mm.
But there has to be some consideration
but I
in
will.
where you play. Like, yeah, like I can have an opinion.
Yeah. I'm not gonna
Like,
talk shit, but here I go. Listen to me.
can I just ask? So there was Messi,
Yeah.
and who's the dude, the Man City gun?
Haaland, the
Okay. Was
striker.
there like a third? Was there a third
Yeah,
guy, or was
Mbappe.
it pretty much them two? Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Are you saying for the running for the Ballon d'Or?
Yeah.
I'll give you a rundown of like what happened and why people are upset over it. So essentially, the Ballon d'Or's come down to a popularity contest, or essentially, it's turned into whoever wins the biggest award that year. But winning that award isn't necessarily an individual performance; it's a team performance. But the issue here is the Ballon d'Or is a individual award. You don't give it to the team; you give it to the person, right? So a lot of people are saying that, even though, and it's calendar year, so it's what you did in calendar year 2022 that matters for Ballon d'Or 2023. So Mbappe scored. Haaland won the treble. He won the Champions League, the Premier League, and the FA Cup, and he scored 52 goals in a season.
Yeah.
50 fucking 2 goals in a season. So
Yeah.
the only thing he didn't have was a World Cup, whereas Mbappe scored a bunch of goals, made the World Cup final, and then Messi was playing half in Paris, half in America, and then he obviously won the World Cup. But people are saying that had Mbappe won the World Cup final, then the Ballon d'Or would have gone to Mbappe. But you know what I mean? So it's
How many goals did he have in that final though? Didn't he score?
Mbappe scored a hat trick in the final,
Patrick,
didn't
yeah,
he?
had a
Yeah.
Damn.
And then he scored a penalty, and then he took penalties in the penalty shootout too, and he
Yeah.
didn't miss anything either.
Yeah.
So and he scored an equalizing goal in extra time in like the 110th minute or something like that too. So it's
So he
so
got robbed. That's
fickle.
what you're saying.
Hey,
He got robbed. That's what you're saying.
I'm not saying he got robbed. I'm saying Messi. Maybe it sounds like it. I'm saying he got robbed, but
Can I
look,
ask? Can you punt on that? Can you punt on the Ballon d'Or?
yeah, you can punt on anything, mate. Anything you
Ooh,
want.
that makes it much
Yeah.
more serious. Then.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a tough one though. Like,
Yeah.
because obviously it goes all year, like Onk said. So
Yeah, it
you know,
goes all year, and Messi was
injuries.
probably the heavy favorite. But look, I'm not even going to put Mbappe in the mix. I genuinely think, like the way Haaland played last year, if you win the treble and you score 52 goals while doing it, I think you deserve to be Ballon d'Or winner. But I think Messi got his World Cup, and it turned into a bit of a popularity contest. So yeah, I'll concede that maybe he shouldn't have won that, but it
I
is
reckon
what
by
it
the
is.
next time, they'll be listening to this podcast and making the decisions with a little bit more fucking sensible reason by listening to us.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were waiting for 3 Indian guys to call them out before they made their decisions. That's what FIFA were waiting for. Yeah.
Has
Three Indian
India
guys with
even
fake
made
Aussie accent.
Yeah.
Wait, when India make the World Cup, that's when we made it. That's when we'll know. That's when
I
our
think
opinion.
Sunil Chetri was fourth in line with me.
yeah, he
One
is.
guy,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, because he probably plays in the Indian Village League, so he's probably scoring 150.
Hey, well, if
150 in the
Messi can
coming year.
playing in the American
Yeah.
Village League, then Chetri's got a
Like we
chance.
don't know. Like, but Messi hasn't played in the Indian Village League, so we don't know. We don't know if
That's
he's
true.
that good or not. We don't
That's
The
know.
old IWL, Indian Village League. I love it.
Indian. You know,
That's it. Give me
there actually is an Indian league. It's called the ISL, Indian Super League, or something
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, they probably get like 2 viewers a month. So
Man, football is really popular in India these days. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Is it?
wasn't Cristiano? Wasn't Didn't
It
they
wasn't
attract some?
Cristiano.
did you
No,
forget his
no.
name?
Sorry,
Did you just
he
forget
went
his
to
name?
he went to Saudi or whatever. Sorry.
Yeah,
So
he went to
the
Saudi.
Indian league attracted someone. I forgot. Oh, far out. I'll
They
find out
usually-
before next pod.
They usually get like old, like 38-year-old, like
Yeah,
ex-stars or stars.
because
It's
they make
massive over there.
they
Like,
make
my
them the
cousin plays
marquee
like
player.
4 times a week.
Oh, really? Your
Yeah,
cousin plays in the Super League?
not in the Super League, as in like goes and plays football like with his mates. But
Are you talking about PK from Penang?
All right, let's put him out. Let's give him the platform. What's your kind of cousin's name, Meshy? Maybe you can make the Super League one day.
Yeah.
What was that?
What's your cousin's name in India that plays 4 times a week? Maybe this is his platform.
I don't think he's making the Super League. It's too early. Too early. There's no chance. No chance.
There's a lot
Man,
of
it
faith.
reminds me of I don't know if you guys have family members overseas that like, because obviously in India and stuff, like people don't play sport as adults professionally. Like you play in like your front yard or like your little building or whatever, but you don't go and play full cricket games and stuff, right? So at one point I had to explain to my family that I'm playing cricket as a 30-year-old, but I'm never going to go anywhere. It's just social cricket. And they're like, what do you mean? And then I'm like, no, like in Australia, we actually have time to have recreational activities. So we go play park cricket. They're like, oh, okay. They didn't fully understand. So they came here to visit. And then my auntie came to like just literally pick me up from one of my games, right? And she's like, oh, wow, you guys play with a real cricket ball. I thought you played with tennis balls. I'm like, oh, bro.
But she thought you were playing in some alleyway with a plastic ball or something like that on your weekends as a 30-year-old man. She
probably, to be fair, our standards aren't much better. So
I think doesn't Harsha play in that league?
In that gully cricket. Oh, I heard there's a guy in that league that bowls 170 though. Be careful.
Man, I think whoever's listening would have stories of like park cricket or park soccer or whatever, and everyone after a few beers, all these like stuff that we get up to sounds a lot better, doesn't
it? Mate, these make up all the stories that we tell each other when we get drunk on weekends.
Well, I think the one last thing I'll add, I was reading your we prepared a lot for this podcast actually, and one of the things that Onks mentioned was you mentioned Harry Kane from the Spurs, and like literally with soccer, if I know a name, I'm like so proud of myself. So tell me about what old Harry Kane's up to.
You know what? You know what's funny though? Here's the thing, right? You always think the grass, and this makes me laugh so much, but I feel so sorry for the poor bloke. The grass is always greener, right? So he spent years with Tottenham. I think his breakout season was 15-16, and it's 20. So he was there until last season, it's just 22-23. So he probably spent 7 years there, right? Got to Champions League final, got to an FA Cup final. Came second in the league. He didn't win a single trophy, like not a single. They were a gun team under Mauricio Pochettino, right? The year he leaves, Spurs are one of the only 3 teams in Europe that are unbeaten so far. Like they're being coached by our previous Aussie coach, Ange Postecoglou, who's obviously Aussie, Big Ange, and they are playing some fucking fabulous football, man. I think. This just off the topic of Harry Kane for a bit. I think we might be in for one of the most exciting EPL seasons in a while, just because City don't seem to be at their dominant best where they won 3 in a row. Arsenal's there, Tottenham's there, Liverpool's there. I won't go into United. We're not there. Who? Yeah, I know who. What are we talking about? But you can't feel too sorry for Kane because obviously, like they're not sitting first in the Bundesliga. So and they're already knocked out of both domestic cups, right? So it's funny because he left to win a trophy, and Bayern's won everything in Germany for the last 7 years. And this might be the season that Tottenham win in the EPL and Bayern don't win anything, right? So, but you can't feel too. Yeah, it might be a curse, but you can't feel too bad for him because he already has 15 goals in club football in his first 10 games, which is the most out of anyone playing club football. And he's already got 2 hat-tricks to his name. So he's got the goals, but doesn't mean that his team's winning or is going to win it. So it's really interesting to see how that season pans out. For me, it'd be nice if anyone but City won the league. So I'm fully on board the Big Ange Tottenham train.
I reckon an Ange jersey would definitely fit Nakul.
Yeah, hell yeah. I actually know him, and he looks nice and meaty. So I reckon I could get a nice jersey.
When I jumped on the call, I thought it was a press conference with Ange, bro. I didn't know what was going on. I felt really lucky, bro.
And I'm definitely more of a manager or a coach than a player, so it suits perfectly.
Yeah, it suits you perfectly.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
No, sick. Well, look, it's past 10 o'clock, so I reckon we're gonna get sleepy and sort of fucking zone out real soon. So I wanted to finish off, but one thing I definitely want to talk about because Onks mentioned, like, I love a little bit of drama with like refereeing and what's it called? What's it called? VAR? Is it
VAR,
in soccer?
VAR. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you
Correct.
tell us what happened? Because that's as much as I know. I just know there's some sort of drama.
Yeah, so we all love a bit of drama with the DRS, VAR, all that shenanigans. So it's been a massive stuff up. So Unmesh probably kicks up more of a fuss about this than I do because I don't give a fuck about Arsenal. But they were essentially 0-0, and then they conceded a goal to potentially the ball going out. There being a foul with an attacker jumping on a defender and a potential offside, and the VAR seemed to miss all three of those incidents, in my opinion. And the goal stood. So, and that goal gave Newcastle a 1-0 win, which is 3 points, 3 crucial points at the top, right?
Damn.
First
And
loss of the season for us as
and
well.
the messed up thing is not just the first loss. Newcastle's in the top 6, so that top 6 is super tight now. So the consequences were huge, but I reckon that ball was out. But I don't know. Maybe Unmesh has some thoughts regarding that too.
I reckon it was out, but obviously I'm a one-eyed supporter, so it was out. It was a foul. It was offside. It was everything.
The goal shouldn't have stood.
It was 3 reds for
Yeah.
the VAR.
What did the Arsenal players do?
It was.
What did the Arsenal players do? Obviously they would have kicked up a fuss. Did they have a go at anyone? Like, what did they do?
The players are quite tame, but Arteta, who's the coach of Arsenal, is usually pretty calm and level-headed. He's come out afterwards and he's in his presser, he's just called the whole league a disgrace and the refs a disgrace.
Giving him
And
the spray.
you usually get fined for that. I think you get 200k fine and you get sent to the stands for a game.
Oh,
but
shit.
he did not give a fuck. He's absolutely just come out and given everyone a spray in the presser, and which is deserved. Like if I was in his position, because look, I'm the more I watch sports, the more I think that referees need to be held accountable too, because it's not the first time just in this season. The season's short, only 12 games in, right? But in the Liverpool game earlier this year, Liverpool Spurs, there was an offside missed, which cost Liverpool 3 point, like a loss essentially. And then later, the PGMOL, which is the officiating authority for the English Premier League refs, came out and apologized that they got it wrong. So the question is, how do you get it wrong even after reviewing it on technology? Like it's crazy. Like, do you know what I mean? And this isn't like Indian Village like soccer. This is the Premier League where there's 6 teams fighting for the top 4, 7 teams fighting for the top 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, a bit of controversy going on at the moment in the Premier League, 100%.
That's pretty sick because we were. I don't know if you guys watch like The Great Cricketer, the 2 Aussie guys that talk shit about cricket. And they made such a good point around Virat Kohli this World Cup. It's like not only are India playing really well, but when Virat Kohli, when he needed to not have that wide, when he was chasing the ton against Bangladesh, it was like a clear wide, and Virat Kohli looks up at the umpire, and the umpire like laughs and doesn't give the wide. And then the other day, like when Shreyas Iyer was batting, I think he kind of hit one for 4, and then the umpire gave it by. So he said he didn't hit it. Virat Kohli just goes up to the umpire and says, no, he hit it. And the umpire's like, oh, sorry. And then just changes it back to runs.
Did he actually change it?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I've missed
It's Kohli's World Cup.
Yeah,
it's his
man,
country.
that's crazy.
He's the king.
So Arsenal just need a little bit of Virat Kohli, and they're sweet.
The
big man down.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think Arsenal have anyone that I could actually just compare to Kohli straight up. No one's got that superstar.
Arsenal are just a bunch of tame kids. They don't even have anyone that yells in the dressing room. I think they need a bit of a leader in there. And Kohli just makes things happen.
Do 30-year-olds still get contracts? Maybe you're up.
Mate, I wouldn't play for Arsenal if they paid me, right? Not happening.
No, you pay them.
Yeah, I pay them. Yeah, I pay them to play because United.
Onks is loaded, isn't he?
I'm loaded. Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
I heard you got to go to bed soon. You got a big day tomorrow. You run the city apparently.
I live 1 street away from the housing commission in Marrickville. I'm very loaded.
No, I love it. All right, sick. Well, I think you guys actually did a lot more prep than I did. I was just talking shit, and I was glad to remember Ange Postecoglou's name and a couple of other things. So that was my contribution. But I reckon next time, now that the guys obviously they know us, we've talked a bit of shit. Next time we'll get into a little bit more specifics about the games that week. I'll start getting to a little bit of punting stuff with you guys as well. I'm keen
Yeah,
to rip in and go very much different to NRL. No Valley, just degenerate bets. I'm really keen to talk some shit next week. But anyways, look, thanks for coming on. We'll get this podcast out on video and audio. If you just Google Wicky Linktree, the stuff will be everywhere for free. Well, it won't be free for long once we make it. The shit blows up, it won't be free.
Once the ad revenue starts coming in.
That's it.
Yeah. Once we
Make it
crack the
big.
algorithm and stuff. That's sick. And I don't know if you two actually use Discord, by the way, but like as we kind of do this for a few more weeks and a few people actually start chatting to you guys about your soccer and basketball and stuff, come join the Discord because like it's pretty funny. Like I actually didn't realize. So in the NRL season, our whole Wiki community and stuff all blew up because of rugby league. So I just didn't pay attention to all the other parts, like all the other sport chats, right? And I just muted everything. And then like a week or maybe 2 weeks ago, I was like, holy shit, there's actually people on there talking about basketball, soccer, and other sports all the time.
Yeah.
So I've actually started to like check it out. So anyways, we'll
That'll
get
be
into it as the weeks go.
Nah, Discord's cool. It'd be nice to interact. I only use it to say degenerate stuff while I'm gaming, but I can use it for a better purpose.
Interact with all your adoring fans that you're gonna have after this.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Hey, you single?
Nice. Oh man, this is getting into young guy chat. I'm too old for this shit. All right, guys. All right. We'll wrap it up. We'll catch you guys next week.